I need a new JSA comic. We can get a JSA show. We can get a cartoon. We can hit the works because, like, yes, I'm here. It's all, and it's like, thank you to The Rock for that. How else were we gonna get here? Because who
That's a
else is
fair
thinking
point.
about the JSA outside of me?
Well, okay.
I
This
mean,
might be a time for me to make a confession. I have a confession. This is a safe
okay,
space.
yeah, today, right now, maybe.
I kind of really love. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of another relaunch. I am Piotr Rasputin, aka Colossus.
Big and strong. Oh, I'm Bobby Drake, Iceman.
Oh, the opposite.
He had a good week, I know, right? He had a good week.
Yeah, that's a king. You know, I've been having my feelings about him recently, just with the story he's been getting, but
I
he's
don't
still good.
know. It
That's
feels
nice.
like a really natural progression for Bobby Drake for me. I don't know what else you want.
Man, that is my problem. I think that's my problem. I think I just haven't really had a different idea of what it was. He's cool though. I love
I
his
love
powers,
it. And we're gonna talk about it
and he's
later.
like
Like,
great superhero.
I think he's cool. And like honestly, I'm here for it. And like the solo thing he's doing and the people he's with. This
Yeah,
is
but
what
you
you
didn't
said
believe
you
me that he
wanted.
was a solo.
I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't. I remember when you said it and I was like, Iceman, Bobby Drake, but no, it like actually makes a lot of sense and I think it's really nice for him. Good.
Yeah. All of them got their own lane. He could just go do his own thing.
Agree.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing wonderful. My birthday was
You had a
early.
birthday.
Yes,
Happy
yes, yes.
birthday.
Thank you, thank you, and thank you to everyone who like sent the happy birthday and well wishes and all that good stuff on social media and the emails. That was very nice. I appreciate it. So I had a really good week. I went and got my hair cut, as you can see.
I know that's
So
right. Yes.
I was feeling good. I was looking good. You know, I was like outside for a little bit. Saw some friends. It was just a good time. It's just been a really good week. It is raining today, so that is like the end of the week. So now I think it was like the sign. Okay, stay inside.
Is it? Do you have a Pride this weekend, or is it like a Pride
Um,
Fest or whatever?
let's say yeah.
You don't keep your ear to the streets. You don't know what's going on in the
I
community.
mean, I saw a lot of them outside when like I was out, but I just don't know what's going on like specifically for the weekend. But I'm pretty sure something is happening somewhere.
Yeah. I'm also like, I'm old. My bedtime is late, so like I can only kick it
Oh
for so late.
gosh, all of my family was texting me and saying "Happy birthday, you're getting old." I was like, "What?" It was like, "What's going on
That's
here?"
rude.
I was like, "What do y'all mean?" And I was like, it's true." I was like, "But I have been saying it. It's more of a rebrand. I'm entering my next level. It's my awakening."
Okay.
So that's what we're.
Okay.
It's been great.
All right, we're going spiritual. All right, yes.
Very.
The third eye is open and we are ascending. I love it.
Stage like a portal just opened somewhere, and it's like, okay, I'm feeling what you're putting out. Let's do it. What did
I love it.
Xavier say when the X-Men took over the world? Humans of Earth. While you slept, the world changed. Period.
What an opening line.
He snapped.
What an opening line. I
We'll
know
be
people
missed.
think that like he snapped so much that people want that to be the opening for like the MCU for the X-Men. Just
Oh,
start with that. Yeah.
I could see that. That'll be hot. I
That'd be
get.
hot, right?
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, this was
We really going into it. Yeah.
perfect. I love that. And like, it actually makes sense because it's like, oh, they haven't been around for this entire time. We haven't seen them, so it's like, yeah, why not? We just pop up.
Yeah.
Hello.
And you know, Hickman's got some kind of contract with them because they use a lot of
Mm,
his stories for the MCU.
I mean,
Although I think maybe they just might be more recent stuff. I've noticed that the MCU tends to pick up more like recent stories, but
Mhm.
they use like the characters and like the characterizations from like when they were fully formed in like the 80s or
Mhm.
the 70s or whatever. But they use stories from like today.
I mean, that makes sense. I think a lot of the stories from today are kind of rebranded stories from the 80s. And well,
Mm.
actually, no, I would say like those early 2000 stories were kind of rebranded 80s stories. I think now we're hitting the point where a lot of people are redoing 90s stories and like modernizing those for the new times. So it makes sense. And the 90s was high,
Mm.
despite what people may.
I liked it. Listen, Lorna was on X Factor and they were the action team going out on missions and stuff, and
Mhm.
she was
90s, like.
cussing out Havoc every other chance. I loved it. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the updates for this week. We had the Black Adam trailer. Well, I don't know if you want to call it like a full trailer or a teaser, but a Black Adam trailer dropped this week, and yeah, um, it
Mhm.
looks like a movie starring The Rock.
Yeah, I love The Rock. Let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now, The Rock is like actually one of my favorite people in like the entire world because I think like the way he has navigated Hollywood is so inspiring because that man stayed booked. He stayed busy. He has one of the best agents in the world. He's made millions, and it's like you know exactly what you're going to get from the movie, and you're going to go see it, and you're going to go love it anyway. And then I also really support him in his feud with Vin Diesel. I think that is like the
Yes,
funniest thing in the world. Vin Diesel does not seem
yes.
like a nice man. So I'm sticking with The Rock.
I loved his rebrand of people love The Rock so much that like I don't know if you remember during the Trump era, he came out and said like, oh yeah, I was a Republican a lot before this. But like, well, I'm not gonna, but I think he was like, oh, I'm not gonna do this. But it was like, wait, what?
Just let it all go. You completely forgot. Completely forgot. But no, it definitely does look like a movie starring The Rock. However, I'm gonna go see it. It's got the JSA in it. I don't know what else you want me
You
to
know
say.
what? Listeners out there, people need to realize that Keenan is a huge like JSA fan, and
Love,
he just
love
really
it.
loves the JSA. It's such a shock to me because I'm so used to people always saying they like the Justice League, but you have always 10 toes down for
Always.
the JSA.
Like Justice Society is where it's at. And that's where I
Yeah.
need to be. I'm like actually really hoping. I don't know if you've seen, but DC Comics is going to be doing some like little one-shot issues for the
Mm.
characters in the movie. So it's going to be like Alden Hodges, Hawkman is getting a comic, that Atom Smasher, that Cyclone. So like Black Hawkman is coming. Everybody get ready to buy it. Um so I was like really excited for all of those. And I was like, oh, hopefully this is going to bring about the resurgence because you know if there's one thing DC does love, it's there's little synergy. And so
Yes.
I was like, I need a new JSA comic. We can get a JSA show. We can get a cartoon. We can hit the works because like yes, I'm here. It's all and it's like thank you to The Rock for that. How else were we gonna get here? Because who
That's a
else is
fair
thinking
point.
about the JSA outside of me?
And well, okay.
I
This
mean,
might be a time for me to make a confession. I have a confession. This is a safe
okay,
space.
yeah, today, right now, maybe.
I kind of really love Dr. Fate. I
Period.
know, I know, I know. I'm like anti-magic and all that stuff.
Period. Are you
But Dr.
anti-magic? I don't think you really are. You might. I don't know. If anyone has been listening to this show long enough, I feel like they know the truth. So it's okay. Maybe that's for the new people.
I say what I said. I'm still not, a fan of magic, but Dr. Fate, he kind of clears. He's cool.
He
Yeah,
got
he's
a
really
hot
cool.
sign, the helmet of fate.
Now, the CGI in the movie is looking a little Dr. Fate. I mean, looking a little Doctor Strange.
That should tell you something.
It's looking a little Doctor Strange, but whatever. The costume looks cool. I love the helmet. Although I don't know why they didn't want to give the movie eye holes. It's just a bucket on.
Mm, I actually don't mind just the bucket. I think it adds a little bit like of mystery to it because it's like, ooh, who is he looking at?
I think I just like it when they glow. It's cool.
Oh, that's nice too. That
Because
is.
then like the helmet looks like alive, like since it's like
Mhm.
Naboo and stuff.
Oh, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. Oh, now you might have just turned me onto the islands.
So it's because I'm low-key a stan.
Oh my gosh! But
Dr.
it's
Vader's
crazy.
cool.
It's crazy. I do think that he should have a new series soon. But again, like this is what I need this
Yeah.
movie to do. It's like, but and this one thing I will say about DC personally, I think they have a lot of really good talent right now, writing and art wise. So there's so many people who I could see doing it. Um, it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
JSA,
I'm
Dr.
sure I'm sure Dr. Fate will probably get something along the lines when the movie come out. I know they were trying to use, I want to be culturally respectful to say, I think it's Khalid?
Khalid.
Khalid?
Yes.
Khalid?
Well,
Okay.
that's how they say it on Young
I know
Justice.
that I was trying to be respectful. I don't really know, but I think that I think they were trying to use him right in
Mhm.
the comics right now. Like they were using him for a bit, or at least recently, and they were just like the both of them were Dr. Fate. But I don't know if they're gonna kind of
They were
continue
both
that.
operating as Dr. Fate and Justice League Dark for a little bit too,
Oh,
which was
cool.
like really nice because you like saw them bonding and having their interaction and like Kent was teaching him. It was a cool little moment. They deserve a book. Let's
I
do it.
like him. I like him. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more a closer look at Cyclone. We only really saw that like her use her powers when she was kind of that green smoke or whatever. But I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of that in this trailer. I really did not like the filter that of the trailer, and like I said, the set pieces look a little cheap. The costumes look a little cheap. But
It's so interesting when you look at
still
like
max.
DC, yeah, DC and like who they're giving like their costume budgets to. Because I think about something like Jason Momoa in Aquaman suit, like that looks
Right.
really, really good. But then I also think about something like the guy who played Shazam and like how that suit looked. But it was like it looked a little like kind of like got it from the toy store, but it's like also it looked good. It worked for the movie. And then you see something
Hmm.
like Black Hat, it's like we were trying to do both and neither worked.
Like what's going on here? I
Yeah.
don't really know. I don't know. But I mean, overall, I think would you recommend this trailer to people? Because I think I would out of just to be like, look at this movie that's starring The Rock. I wouldn't recommend it like, yes, you got to see this trailer to go so you can go see this movie. I would be like, look at this starring The Rock. The flying.
I mean, I will, but
The
I would be
flying
like,
looks bad.
but I was like, look at the JSA. I'd be like, I mean, look at Adam Smasher running like a giant going through here. Look at Dr. Fate in his little mirror dimension. Like, I don't know.
Oh, maybe we could even throw in Journey Smollett's Black Canary into like a JSA thing.
Period.
I was gonna
Let's
say how can we make that work, but like these universes don't matter. Just do
they
it.
will- they'll do whatever. But again, I think that is like kind of the beauty of DC, where it's like, don't think that hard. Just know what's
Hmm.
happening. They're here.
Yeah. All right. Well, then y'all let us know what you thought about the trailer because we have some opinions. Okay. Also, this week we found out that there has been a Thunderbolts movie that is in the works, and this will be directed by Jake Schrier. Apologies if I mispronounce his name, but he has been tapped to direct the movie. Now, are you interested in seeing the Thunderbolts movie? From what they were saying, characters like Yelena, Taskmaster, were some names that they were throwing out that could be on the team.
Um. So I think if we were getting a Thunderbolts movie that's kind of based around the people who we've been getting in the MCU so far, like Ghost, Yelena, Taskmaster, whatever, I would be interested in seeing Yelena and Ghost, but I would not be interested in seeing anybody else. Um, I think when it comes to the Thunderbolts, if I see them, I do want to see like that original grouping of like Moonstone and Songbird and
Yeah.
like those kind of folks in that space. But I don't think that's what we're gonna get. But if they want to introduce Moonstone in it, then yeah, I'll be all in.
I mean, if they are looking at the Suicide Squad, which James Gunn did for DC,
I definitely don't want that.
not at all. But I mean, like the way that movie introduced a bunch of characters, this could do something like that where you did, like, even though we've never seen Moonstone before, they could throw in Moonstone because she's just a villain now that are part of the Thunderbolts. I'm not sure how different they will try to make this from the Suicide Squad. I hope a lot. So that it's not just like the same kind of movie, even though the Thunderbolts aren't like the Suicide Squad. Like their mantra isn't the same.
No, the
But I feel like
Thunderbolts
that
were always
comparison
like.
is happening now.
I feel like the Thunderbolts were always the villains who were like being heroes. Like they were like truly like trying to be turned around into being heroes and like doing good stuff. And even like when Luke Cage was on the team, I think he had took a bunch of the villains and they were doing like reform work, I guess you could call it. So I don't see them being like Suicide Squad, and I don't think they should be presented like it. But they could be.
You know how we never have ones with an MCU, like they could do whatever. I hope that this. Do you want this movie to kind of really like be the centerpiece for like the street level characters?
Again, like I think
if they're using these Thunderbolts characters, they've got to be like quote unquote building towards it, right? Like using everybody from before.
But again, I think that's my thing. Like, I think about all the people who are in the MCU right now who could probably be on the Thunderbolts. It's like, oh, I don't want that.
Now, y'all know how I feel about Taskmaster. Although this could be a chance to fix it.
To redo it, to get a new one. Because they healed that girl at the end of the movie. So she might not need to be Taskmaster anymore.
I don't watch that movie that often.
It's like so crazy when you just like go back to think about it. It was like, wow. That was
for like, what?
That was, they did him dirty. The MCU is a nasty place. It is like such a bad place to be. I like sent them a tweet. I was like, my faves are on ice. Please don't introduce anyone else.
All it does is just really boost the popularity of your faves because movies and television just reach a wider audience than comics. So like more people are gonna find out about your favorite characters. But bitch, you think I want more people to find out about that? Taskmaster? Absolutely not. No.
I mean, she was scary in the first half. When she was when she was in a tank.
This girl was doing work when she was fighting on the bridge.
When she in the bridge and she did Natasha's little choke slam move on her. She cleared it.
She kind of gagged her a bit, yeah.
Yeah. That was hot. So I don't know. At least that's something. Like they'll get a moment. At least.
I will always say that the MCU at least does get like action scenes right. Like I remember someone on Twitter did like some like long montage of like a bunch of action scenes like together. And it was really, really cool. And it made me realize like, oh, I guess they really have like some cool fight scenes within the MCU. Yeah. That's what I want. So, yeah. All right, y'all. Well, that was all of the updates for this week. Let's go ahead and take a little break, and then we'll come right back.
Cool. All right. Hello. Welcome back for another review as we get into this week's comics. And DC cleared it.
They did.
They're like doing the damn thing.
It's kind of standard for them. They've been doing the damn thing.
I absolutely love that. So let's get right on into it. Starting off the week, we had like the big event for DC's kicking off is Dark Crisis #1, and that comes from Joshua Williamson and Daniel Samperi on art. And for those who were reading, the Death of Justice League have been killed, and the world is kind of like feeling that. Quote unquote killed. And the world is like feeling that now. We have Nightwing giving like a nice eulogy about like the League and like what they represent for heroes. We also kind of see like the heroes that are left.
Can we talk about that for a second? Did you realize that was like a flashback to when he first became Robin?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I thought that was cool. Like it was nice. The candlelight of when he like gave his first oath of teaming up with Batman and becoming Batman and Robin, and everybody getting their little candles to do it too. It's cool.
I mean, if you're,
Nightwing is
I
goated.
guess if you're a Nightwing fan, I guess it will really. I guess like okay, I'll take your word for it. But and then so as we go throughout like the issue, we kind of see that like there are a bunch of different cults and groups in the DC universe that are all talking about like this darkness, and everyone seems to be getting like real antsy, like something's coming, and we see a bunch of different heroes dealing with it. Hal Jordan returns, and he's like, "What's going on?" So they fill him in, John and the Flash, and so obviously like Hal Jordan's like the lead can't be dead. We got to investigate it. So him and Flash go on about their way, and we're left with Mr. John Kent, and he realizes that like okay, the world needs a Justice League. So we get this montage of him going to ask various people. He sees Yara. Yara's like absolutely not. He sees Jace. Jace is like absolutely not. He sees Jackson. Jackson's like, of course I'm going to do it. But I will say like in the moments with John, Yara, and Jace, I thought those were all like really well done and nice, and I enjoyed them giving like reasons for why for Jace, excuse me, and Yara were both like no, and her, especially in the sense of like she's trying to build her own legacy, just as Wonder Girl, which already has stuff with it, and she's not ready. But then of course we see like John Ice and a bunch of different other heroes throughout the DC universe: Dr. Light, Harley Quinn, Killer Frost, Peacemaker, Vixen, just all giving their reasons, and he ends up with
Naomi.
Yeah, to Naomi. Which leaves him with this like ragtag team of heroes who he takes to Black Adam to be like, this is who we're going to use, and Black Adam's like, no, which I thought was like
he was like, this is some scrubs.
he was like, although he did say the fish was a maybe, he put some respect on Jackson's name, and that's what we like to see. Okay, like let's talk.
He did say the fish was a maybe.
Like I know that's right, and so but then all of that.
I tried my girl Dr. Light though, trying to call her old. And Dr. Light is a character who like I only have read like when she appears and stuff. I haven't really gone back and read like her origin and like a bunch of books with her, but I think I really like her.
I will say that there's not like that many.
Yeah.
I think she's very similar to Vixen in the way that they've both been around for a lot and they've done like a lot of things, but like there hasn't been like too much focus on them as singular characters. Although that one little team up, there's a couple of Justice League issues during where Dwayne McDuffie wrote them, and the team just Vixen, John, Dr. Light, Firestorm, and not Black Canary, Zatanna, and like probably honestly my favorite League lineup of all time. And it was like 4 issues, but it's like yes, this is it.
I got John Stewart, Vixen, and Dr. Light all on the same team. Yes,
and like Vixen and Dr. Light were kind of giving each other some fire because she was like Vixen was like challenging everybody on the team, like, why are you here? And Doctor's like, you need to calm down. She's like, we're here to help people. It was good stuff.
I kind of like her.
She's a cool girl. So once that happens, they're still talking about the team. The guy who has killed, quote unquote, the Justice League talks about how he's going to use the multiverse, or he's going to use the dark chaos energy that's coming to destroy the multiverse, and that's where our issue ends. And so we're going to be getting into it. I actually kind of like enjoyed this. Oh wait, no, Titan's Tower gets attacked.
Which is yeah, all the Academy kids probably killed, but
yeah, but I've never read any of them, and it's time. The Titans need a little bit of a culling.
Yeah.
The brand has been what it has been for a while now. And it's time.
That's very nice. That's way to say it.
It's time to get it back to it.
It's been flopping. You can say it. They've been flopping. They tried Titans Academy. That was a flop. Them kids weren't doing anything hot. Let's just scrap it and start over.
Okay.
It's okay. We can move on.
We're gonna go, but then the issue ends. But I will say, overall, I actually really enjoyed this issue, and I'm kind of excited for the rest of Dark Crisis.
Me too. I'm actually really excited for this event. I know obviously the Justice League isn't dead. If anyone read Crisis on Infinite Earths, Pariah was also in that, and the way that Flash died, he got sent to this world or whatever. I think that's what's happening with the Justice League now. They didn't die, but Pariah is using their deaths, the darkness that comes from their deaths to power this machine that he's going to use to take out the multiverse. And every character, the Justice League, they're all in their own worlds. So I think that's where all these one shots that are coming out of Dark Crisis are going to be about, where each One Shot is going to show us what like their world is, which honestly makes sense. Why that One Shot is going to be John as like he's like a superhero in his world.
He looks good.
Yeah, king. So yeah, I mean, also like I love the art on this. Daniel Saperi is one of my favorite artists. So
Yeah.
this was fantastic. Everybody looked great.
I'm excited to see more of his Jackson, even though I've seen a lot of his Jackson already. But like,
so yeah, he's him a lot. Though John Kent, he's kind of a flop.
He is, but like I appreciate that everyone thinks he is. Like that seems to be like the running joke in DC. It's like, baby, nobody really cares for you. Like we understand you're only here because of nepotism, and
which is how come he's not using that nepotism to be great? Like lean into.
I think he's trying to, but I think a thing of him is that he is annoying. And it's just kind of like, okay.
He is annoying. I just don't for John. I wish it seems like they kind of fumbled his character arc because he hit more when he was younger.
I heard, and I used to hear a lot of really good things about that Super Sons book when it was like him and Damian.
Yeah.
Like people really.
That's great. Aging him up to be like, nepotism baby. I don't know if it's hidden.
I don't think it is, but I don't know. I think that they can turn.
It's Pride Month. I shouldn't say nothing about the case.
I was gonna say I think they can like turn that in. I think there's a positive spin for that. I think that it's not working, and I think like that should be the story. Like you're just being the nepotism baby. It's not working. Nobody actually is respecting you or like enjoying you. Then we can get into some genuine characterizations, like who do you want to be and what do you want to represent.
Outside of your dad.
Exactly. But what would you rate Dark Crisis #1?
Honestly, I would give this issue a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It was a great like setup for like this event, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. A nice fun like crisis event for these. I'm interested to see how the legacy heroes really step up because the league is truly like everybody gone, and it's not even like their legacy characters are there, like Nightwing and all of them and stuff. Like they also have their own things to do. Like these are all the other legacy characters who need to really kind of step up. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I hope Red Tornado pops up. I always liked him.
The JSA. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, no, I will also give this a 4 out of 5. I don't really know how much I care about like the Titan stuff and Deathstroke and all of that. I haven't been reading his Deathstroke Inc. book or whatever's going on over there, so I don't really know why he's still so upset about the Titans. I don't know. I feel like Deathstroke being mad about them is a little overplayed, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm excited for
that. I feel like, I feel like that's such an age-old like battle that I don't know, people just get hyped from it or something. I don't really need to see it. I only want to see it because Daniel Saperi drawing it. So
I think now
it's gonna be hot.
Especially after Titans, it's just made me realize like this old man just beating up all these kids.
Yeah. They don't like them kids.
Like go fight some adults, sir. What is wrong with you? But no. All right, and so next up on the list is Poison Ivy #1, the new #1 this week, and that comes from G. Willow Wilson and Marcel Takara. And like, let me tell you, the rollout for this book has been immaculate. I don't know if you have been online, but the way they've done the covers, the variants, like the promo, and I think this is one of its Pride month. There's like Pride on the front, so it's one of the Pride. So it's like coming in with all that, like it is good, and like. This is a creative team. I don't know if you are new to the show or if I've just never said it maybe, but Marcel Takara is probably like my favorite artist of all time. Him and Ryan Sook like very often tied for the #1 spot. And having him on Poison Ivy, another chick who I love.
Yeah.
It was hot. And this issue itself was really good. Did you read it?
I did not. Poison Ivy is someone who I could never really get into.
You are not.
What?
I think that this is something that you should read to get you into her. I think this was like, I think a lot of times with Poison Ivy, writers tend to like try and
Harley Girlfriend,
that is very bad. she's Harley's girlfriend, or they like can't really decide if they want her to be like villain, anti-hero, like eco-terrorist, whatever. Like it's all these things, and I think this issue does a really good job at like combining all of that and show you like she has this moment. So in the beginning of the issue, we're kind of starting like the middle of the story a little bit. She's talking about death and like giving back to the earth, and she seems to have sent like some type of poison throughout the earth, and it's like going and like turning people into, or turning creatures into like these like fermented things that die, and these guys try and like confront her on it, and she kills them. And she talks about like, I don't want to kill people, like I don't actually hate people, I think they're fine and I think they're necessary, we are just who we are. She's like, but like I think the earth is more important. And like it talks about her connection to the green. She actually does meet with Harley Quinn, and they talk about like when Harley had died and Harley had a place in bringing her back. I'm not sure if this is in Heroes in Crisis or in one of the other books where Harley's been like attacked and died, because that's been happening a lot to her lately. Because she was in Catwoman and they were trying to kidnap her. She was in Swamp Thing and they were dealing with it there. So I don't know if this is all still time.
Damn.
Yeah, like they've been treating her like she's been going through it. So I don't know if this is, but I remember in Heroes in Crisis, she did like die and come back. So I think that is from that. But Harley's just, I mean, not Harley, Ivy is telling her, like, I understand why you did it. I know you did it because you wanted to have me back, but it also, like, destroyed a part of me. And, like, I can't really get over that. And I can't really, like, forgive that and get past it so easily. And so she kind of, like, separates herself from her for that and continues.
Okay.
I know, right? So I'm telling you, like, this is what you like to see. So she comes back. She continues on her little mission. There is a part in the issue where she talks about how if you're reading this, I'm already dead. And she talks about whatever the poison she sent out is like now affecting her. She doesn't seem to be at full power or have her full connection to the green. And so something is killing her and something's hurting her. She has this really cool part where she like does something with photosynthesis and the lights, and she like creates this like really dope plant form, and like her hair is up. It looks really like Marcio Takara's art is fantastic. The colors are fantastic. I cannot recommend this enough. By the end of the issue, whatever she has like set loose, whatever is dying, some monster is like clawing its way out, and there's just like some good narration that we're gonna get into the rest of the book. It's only 4 issues, so but I'm excited for the next one.
Do you think this is just 4 issues and more people buying it can turn it into an ongoing, or is this is like a mini series?
I do think so. I think that DC has been really good about that. Like these things that have been mini series or like marked as 4 issues, 5 issues, 8 issues, just the good word of mouth that gets it up, and then here we go, we get another 4, 5, 6, 8, however many needs to go. So I think that could be a thing, and I do see a lot of positive reviews about this. I don't know if it's a lot of people who, like you said, are just coming in knowing she's Harley's girlfriend, and they think Harley's going to be a big part of that, and so, but that doesn't seem like it's going to be it. And
yeah, I mean, she already said no. Like,
yeah, she was, and she acknowledged.
Let me do my own thing.
In the book again, she tells her, she's like, I love you, I understand it, I know why you did it, but like, there's part of me missing. There's something wrong. I need to figure out. I gotta be on my own. And it's like, I love when relationships do that. Midnighter and Apollo do that very often as well. That's another couple that I really think is cool. Oh, she won like a double.
I love them.
Yeah. So it was a really good issue. I do like recommended. Or even like just checking that first issue out on DC Universe Infinite when it comes out and seeing how you like it. I think this is a creative team. I really like G. Willow Wilson. She's one of those women. She gets it. And I
was a fan of her Ms. Marvel run.
Yeah.
I personally didn't stick with it that long just because like she started dealing with like teenage stuff and like I don't want to read it all the time, but still a great series.
Very much so. So all in all, I definitely rate this a 4.5 out of 5. Like honestly, I'm trying to be like fair and not give a full 5, but like it was kind of perfect issue for me. I don't know what else to say.
Goodbye.
Yeah, and so next up on the list is another new number 1 and another. This was a good week. It's Aquaman Andromeda number 1, and this comes from Ram V and Christian Moore. And so this is a Black Label book from DC, and those aren't really in a normal continuity, but it's a little bit more mature story, and this one has a lot of sci-fi and horror elements to it. I think straight off the bat, if you are into movies like Cloverfield or Underwater with Kristen Stewart, which is like an A+ movie everyone should go and see that you've never seen that. I think this is an issue that you're really going to enjoy. It starts out with like Aquaman. He is meeting this lady, and she's giving him this story about like him trying to run from his path and trying to run from his place as a part of the water, and how she's going to be dead the next time he comes there. We see that something has fallen from the sky, and we have these scientists, and they're talking about it. It's gone into what's known as the spacecraft cemetery. It's supposed to be the farthest point from any human land, but like they need to know what came out of space because it wasn't a meteorite and all this stuff like that. So they send a team to go out there to try and figure out what's going on. All this is going on. Black Manta's also in the book. He knows that something's come down from space, and he knows that it's something crazy, so he's about to look into it. And then the issue ends with like one of the not space teams, the team that's in the submarines going to investigate. They get attacked by this like giant monster. It like starts pulling them off and killing them, breaking the ship in half. And Aquaman comes in looking great, and he's trying to save the day. And that's where the issue ends. But there's like a lot of really cool internal narration throughout the story, not even just from Aquaman's point of view, but just from like the other characters in the story. And they're talking about things just like life and death. And like, again, there's a lot of horror and sci-fi elements, so there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. It was just such an intriguing issue. It was Christian Ward's art is like immaculate. It gives off the perfect mood, the perfect tone. Like the very opening scenes, I just felt like I was watching a movie. Like, it's like they're going around, they're like, okay, at 0800 hours, we got wind of this thing falling from space. It was too big to be a meteorite. It wasn't breaking up into the sky. We don't know what's going on. Like, it's freaking us out. We got all the scientists they're talking about, and they're getting nasty with each other. They're cussing in the books. Someone says, let's not F around. And I was like, whoa. I was like, it's getting hot in here.
All right, yeah.
So just like it was really good. And everybody knows this is a Ram V Stain account, so I did not expect it to be bad. Right. But it's really interesting how I'm still kind of blown away by his work a little bit, and like I can still read and be like, damn, this is still really good. And it's just like, I don't know how you keep doing it. It's something about that guy. He's great.
And I wonder if he'll end up taking over like the Aqua Corner. Think they'll like give that to him?
Could you imagine? And so this is like technically his second time writing Aquaman because he wrote him a little bit during the Justice League Dark backups when they were in this league. So it's just like, ooh, but Arthur's there. Ooh, but if he could write Jackson, that would also be hot. I'm not opposed.
Well, Arthur's probably going to come back. They'll probably put Arthur and Jackson together again.
I mean, and I'm not even upset about that. I said that like he is, like he's not my favorite character or something.
Right.
But yeah, I'm down for all of them. It's just really cool, like, to see Ram V writing your favorite character and like doing it well. In like a story that's tailor made for me. Horror, under the sea, Atlantic, stuff coming from space. What? I love Cloverfield.
I've seen the art for it. It looks really, really cool.
It looks good. This
like kind of coral armor that Aquaman has is kind of cool too.
The designs are amazing.
I was like, oh, that's different. I never thought about like him using coral. That's a smart idea.
It's a fantastic first issue. This is actually getting a 5 out of 5 from me. I'm sorry. They did that. And then next up on our list is, because it is the gay month, the DC Pride Anthology came out this month. And did you read this? That's crazy. That is insane.
I know. I did not. No. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to just be honest. I'm going to just be honest. I've been kind of underwhelmed with the like Pride anthologies.
So I will say that I'm usually underwhelmed with the Marvel ones, but I actually like the DC ones. I do think that when DC does its little specials for the heroes of color and like the Pride ones and all of that stuff, I think they're very well done, and it's a very stark difference in them. I think the Marvel ones kind of put a lot of emphasis on, I don't want to necessarily say the experience of coming out, but just like remind you for the first time, quote unquote, that this character is gay or this character is trans or lesbian or whatever. Whereas I feel like the DC specials really just show the heroes doing their everyday stuff. And them being gay or trans or lesbian kind of secondary to it, but it like filters into the story somehow. So when like Jackson has one in this, and during this he's talking about like him being a hero and he's like out doing stuff, but then like he goes to meet with the little boy he's dating, Hawaii, and like he introduces him to his family and they have a moment, and then it's like, but they're also talking about like how, you know, he is being Aquaman right now and all the stuff he's going through, and like and then he kind of gets into like his stuff with his mom, and like then it's like, okay, but he gets back to heroing. Whereas I feel like the Marvel ones would just focus on that one portion of the story where he's talking about like, yeah, when I first came out to my mom, we know that we saw it 50 times already.
Right. We know you gay. That's why we here.
Exactly. And then even the one that features Connor Hawke, he has like internal narration about his sexuality and stuff, but the entire issue he's like fighting people. He's like stopping crime. And
like
then
on a mission. That's cool.
yeah. And he's taking people down. And he's like, oh yeah, I also want to fight Lady Shiva. And I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like, okay, and then you go on to the next day. So it's like, it's more so that like, yes, this is their life.
A book with action? Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Okay. So I thought there were a lot of really good stories in this one. Nubia was in here. Giganta was in here. Was that Joe Girl in here? John Kent was in here.
I saw the pages with John Kent saying how Pride is a party.
John Kent was in here, but even like with John, I thought
said Pride is a party.
But that's John, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that just like that feels right. Like that's exactly how you would say it. Like I don't know. I think like that's
I may disagree, but those people exist and that feels like John.
I feel like they're doing like a really good job at like making John what he is. So that's that. I will say that this one didn't have as many pinups as I would have liked. I think a lot of the I think a lot of the other ones do like some really, really great pinups, and I don't feel like there was that many in this one. There was some nice ones, of course, but like it just didn't feel like the influx was there. Oh, okay, that Joe Green Lantern girl, she wasn't one. I just skimmed the issue again.
I don't really like her anyway.
She's cool, but the Ray was in there too. I think you like him.
I do like the Ray. Yeah, I do like the Ray.
And I even as I'm like going back to the issue now, all of their stories, like there's action, they're like fighting, they're in the middle of missions, they're like doing stuff. They're not being gay all the whole time. They're gay the whole time, but it's like
it's not about them coming out and like
it's like
look at my trauma from me being gay.
Yeah, it's like I'm alive, I'm living. We can have fun too, I guess. So that was I liked it.
So far.
I thought it was a good one. So I just recommend, I think if you like the Pride specials, you should go and pick those up from DC. I don't know, the Marvel one, I don't know what that one's gonna give. But and my final book of the week, it was the month. I forgot this is Gay Month. Iceman Infinity Comics.
More Queens.
And this was number 2. And I know you. We were just talking about Iceman earlier. I don't know if you tapped out, but I really like this book. This little Infinity comic.
I'm gonna have to maybe give it a try. Maybe. Iceman to me has been a character I've always really liked. I like superhero Iceman, and like I said, but previously when I did a relaunch on him, all of the like original 5 characters, they can't just be the X-Men. They all need to like kind of level up and do something else. And Iceman's level up is for him to be a solo superhero. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to be going down like this, like where he just like living in WeHo. Like
it was cute though. So like
I see that every day already.
The last issue, his little inhuman boyfriend Romeo popped up, but he was also an adult now. So like they kind of reunite. Romeo tells him like he was caught up in some time travel, inhuman, blah blah blah, whatever. You know how it goes. He's here. He's an adult now. What's up? So they like go and they do it. And they stop a monster together, which was like really cute. And so Iceman actually goes to a meeting, or not a meeting, but a convention about climate change. And he's talking about like how we need to start doing better and how like the mutants have this and this and that, but they can't like do it all by themselves. And they do want to live with people, which I thought was like a really nice thing to see and kind of like evolution of him doing something else. Again, if he's going to be
Hold on, I'm listening.
It's It was like a really nice moment there. Then he like gets caught up in some other stuff. He also has to leave from that though. He gets a call. His dad has died.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, and so he like gets to the
Okay, I
hospital.
gotta read this now.
It was good. And so, but like,
Like I read all of his like original solo stuff and his Champions era stuff. Him and his dad have always had this like very
tense relationship,
rocky
exactly.
relationship.
And so
Yeah.
like, and that was like hit on in the issue when he gets to the hospital and the dad's dead. He's like, that's it. He's like, no final confrontation, no closure on all of the issues
Yeah.
you had, like no problems. He's like, dad's just gone. His mom be right there with his nasty ass daddy, and so his mom said
Yeah.
like, she was like,
She
oh,
do.
she was like, you and your mutant people have like found a way to cheat death, it seems like. I guess that's not going to happen for us. But they also make a comment. The doctor tells
I don't know if
Iceman
I
that
like
like,
that. She wasn't that nasty.
but here's the gotcha. The doctor tells Iceman that the dad refused to take any of the mutant drugs that he offered.
Well, that makes sense. that makes
So
sense.
it's like you sit here talking about me and my mutant people, but it's like I was trying to help him. We were trying to help him. He didn't want to do it. Now he
Mm-hmm.
did. And so after that, Bobby gets depressed and he starts talking about like making bad decisions. And at the end of the issue, we see him in bed with Christian Frost again.
You
And
know what? You know what? I can't even deep sigh because I make
it's
the same
real.
mistake.
It's real. That's how it be. That's exactly how it is. And he says it. He's like, I don't know why I do some of the things that I do.
Oh, you know what? That actually sounds really great. I do really like Iceman. I feel as though um, there's a bit of retconning that's happening right now with him and his family.
Mhm.
And I didn't stay too long for his most recent solo series. I kind of checked out of those
The
fairly
one,
early.
Cena Grace.
Yes.
Oh, that
Um,
one.
I kinda checked out of those. But, you know, Iceman's, it seems as though his relationship with his family has been changed from being, oh, you aren't growing up to the boy we wanted you to be,
Mhm.
to just adding because you're gay at the end of it. You know what I mean? Whereas like when he was before he quote unquote came out, even though in my opinion, Iceman kind of always really been gay. Like
He has been.
I don't, he kind of always is. And that the like undertones for that were always there, where his dad was like, you know, would pick on him for. I remember once he was like trying to build sandcastles, and his dad was like, "Oh, you can't do that. Like that's not masculine. Like that's not what boys do." And you can look at that as like a masculinity thing, but now I feel as though after his coming out, you can really kind of look at that as more of a sexuality thing. And now I feel like that has kind of in a way affected his relationship with his mom. Yes, his mama was always there with his nasty daddy, but like she I don't know if she had ever really like been that way with him. Whereas now I feel as though they're kind of giving her that role because that's what would fit for this kind of
Mm,
stuff.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think she's always been that way. I do remember that Cena Grace thing, and I feel like that line in that aspect was supposed to hit a little bit harder because again, her husband just died. Like she was upset, she was
Right.
mad, so like she probably was just like speaking out nasty. But I always felt like with her, even though she might have sometimes been like, okay, yeah, bring over Bobby for dinner, she was also very much like, I still am kind of like disappointed in you in my own ways. I don't necessarily.
Yes. Yes.
But I think a big part of that is yes, you're not becoming the man we wanted you to be, but also like you are a mutant. I think like their whole like anti-mutant thing is like very evident, and I
Mhm.
think no matter any type of progress they ever did try and give Bobby and his parents, it was just like they just don't like mutants. Again, like here was this drug that literally could have saved this man's life, and he just refused to take it because he just
Mhm.
liked them that much.
Mhm.
Mm.
I don't know
But
this book sounded a little lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
like, and if anything, I think I've always enjoyed Iceman, but again, like I didn't see the solo hero thing. I just saw like a guy on the team with a lot of potential, and I want to see it in different ways, but I didn't necessarily think it would work with solo. But like it's working here, and I feel like it is doing like what old comics kind of used to do, and it's like a She-Hulk vibe used to be. Like it's slice of life, we're seeing him do stuff, but we're seeing him be a hero, and he's like moving on, and it's like cool, and he's having a good time with it.
I think that's what a lot of these like Infinity Comics should be like, where we're getting a lot more insight into these characters. Since they're digital, like they can kind of come out whenever, and I hope that they can continue this. Like I've said before, the Krakoan era has really opened the door for more characters to kind of get these spotlights, because like now you have the backdrop of Krakoa and you can just kind of tell their slice of life within that setting. So I hope that you get to do a lot more of these. And Iceman should just be a solo character. He's been X-Men. He ain't going nowhere. Like y'all always clown him and he'll be right there. But
agree. And he's like 05, so it's like you can't be beat. Yeah. And he's an amazing friend. So it's like
hello. He collected the Spider-Man. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but those were the books of the week. I think I'd rate this like a 4 out of 5, honestly. I know like Luciano's art isn't for everyone, but again, I do think it fits here. I think he's shown a lot of improvement for how he used to do it. I think he sells a lot of the emotion. When Bobby finds out like his dad is dead and he just got there too late, it was kind of like, oh, like I feel that sadness. So
yeah, it sounds like they're finally aging him up. It was necessary.
It's time.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the book club. So this week we were reading Thor God of Thunder, issues 4 through 9. And honestly, we could just like talk about all of these issues together, because this was just like one long fight. Like, literally from issue 4 through 9, it was just Gore and Thor fighting throughout time and space, basically. And I have to say, this is my first time really like getting into like a Thor run.
Yeah.
And it's wild how like, how sometimes you see a writer and a character, they just like get that character. I really just think Thor might just be it for Jason Aaron, because like this feels very appropriate. Like anytime I'm reading this, I'm like, oh, this feels like a Thor story.
Yeah,
he seems like nothing feels out of place.
One of the actual reasons I only started getting into Thor was because I kept hearing so many good things about Jason Aaron in the book.
Oh wow. Yeah, and this is no like change to that, because this has been really great. I think one of my favorite things that have happened, so in this whole arc, Gore has basically captured Thor because young Thor and old man Thor wanted to go and try to stop him, and they like had this whole fight. They lost, and then Gore like takes them to his like own makeshift planet that he has, and he has enslaved all the gods throughout like the cosmos that he's found.
Yeah.
So all these gods are slaves, which there's a moment in it which I thought was really kind of cool, which I kind of hope this happens in the movie, where before the fight, like Gore is getting ready to fight the other Thors, and the Thors are like doing their little speeches or whatever, and Gore shows up and he's like, oh, you guys should have brought more Thors. And I honestly feel like that's gonna make it into the MCU. I fully expect Gore to see the Thors and him say,
I love when there's multiple Thors. I love that like whole little trope. I don't know why. I just think it is so exciting.
Okay. I like a core. I'm a Green Lantern fan, so I like a core.
But that's the thing. I don't think I want them around like all the time. But I like, because it's happened like a couple of times where they've brought like various Thors from like different points in time, and they've all fought together, and like Jane and the young Thor, and then the War Thor, and then Thor and Frog Thor, and they're all here. And it's just even during the Hickman Secret Wars, when they were doing like the Battle World thing, they had like a book that was just like a universe of all Thors, and there was a Sam Wilson Thor. He was hot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did have the Thor core. I think that was the first time that we had seen those, and those are really cool. We do also get like some of Gore's backstory. He is kind of similar to Mongol in a way. Kind of where he was like raised on this desolate planet and just didn't believe in anything else, and he just had to like fend for himself. Although he grew up in a place where there was just no food or sustenance, and like there was nothing, and the gods just never did anything. And these two beings, one of like light and darkness, like fell from the sky, and they were fighting, and the one that was light was like, help me. And so Gore killed him.
Because what else would he do?
And took the dark guy's armor, and just that's how he became Gore, with like his darkness. And they have all this like these fighting across the stars in space, and Old Man Thor, and he's got this all the enslaved Thors. He meets these young daughters, which they turns out to be the granddaughters of Thor, because I guess Gore can actually pluck gods from like the time stream, basically, because he because he slaughtered all these gods of time.
Like this is an evil man. I think that's why I like Gore though, because he is like just genuinely like, you know, I love like a bad guy who's just a villain. It's like that's all he is. It's
My
like,
favorite thing in this was when Gore had the planet of all the enslaved gods, and like the young Thor was like, on Sundays we get to rest because this is a joke. Gore thinks it's funny that, like, you know, on the seventh day God took a rest, so that's like let's the because if you're gonna be bad, why not also be petty? So I thought that was really cool. They are like, oh, we can't summon any of our weapons or our armor. Like, none of us are at the strength that we normally are. And young Thor is like, well, I can do whatever I want to do. I'm going to like take the bomb that we guys have, because Gore has built this like god bomb, which is going to go off and like destroy all of the gods. They're trying to fight back, and I thought it was really cool when young Thor like leaves and he summons rain and he like makes it rain fire. I thought that was cool. Wow. Thor is like really fucking powerful. He's a god. Yeah, when he made it rain fire, I was like, oh, that's kind of really dope. Like,
like raining fire, it's like just an amazing visual. You just it's always gonna hit in the story, no matter when it comes or what it does. If it rains fire, oh yeah, it's getting serious.
It was cool. So he took the bomb that they had like been planning to like blow up the god bomb, and he's like, I'm gonna go on a solo mission and do it. They tried to make it work. Long story short, it didn't work. So yeah, that was like the end of like this whole little arc here. And I personally feel like I was shocked when I got to issue 9, because reading it, I don't know, maybe that just is a testament to Jason Aaron's writing, but I thought the heroes were going to win. Like all three, because like this is getting over soon, so I figured like, oh, they're probably gonna win, then figure out how to fix everything towards the end. But the best all three stories fighting and they lost.
The best stories are when your heroes lose.
Yes, yeah.
Like they have been like destroyed and like crippled beyond belief. Batman get his back broke.
Yeah. Honestly, that's funny you say that, because everybody knows like the Phoenix Saga, and it was one of my first like events and stuff that I ever read. What drew me to it and what I liked it the most, my first solo issue X-Men book was X-Men 137, and that is when the X-Men lose. And like, to me, that was the first time I had ever really seen heroes lose, and they were, in space on the moon fighting the Imperial Guard, and I was like, oh, the heroes are gonna win. But they did not. They got washed.
And that's what we want to see. Like, we want to see them suffer a little bit, That's what makes it good.
To see that, like, Thor and all those Thors were fighting, and the last page is Gore standing over their bodies, and I was like, oh, okay.
Period.
Here.
Great. Me a little bit more.
Me too. This has really been getting me kind of hyped for the movie, although it's also been making me think, how much is the MCU gonna take from this? Like, ooh. Because we already saw the trailer, and homeboy that's playing Gore don't look like this.
And they got to do a lot in the movie.
Like in this, Gore is like, he's got his own planet. He is like really going around killing all these gods. He's also like the time jumping and stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. I do think it's cool that there were the multiple Thors, which makes me wonder if they're going to do it in the movie. Do you think we'll see another Thor?
And they'll like bring all his brothers in?
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun.
I bet we see King Thor.
That would be fun, actually.
It'll probably be King Thor, Avengers Thor, and Jane, instead of like young Thor, like we have in the comic.
No, that's probably what they'll use his brother for, Liam. Because the Hemsworth, he got all them brothers.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah.
That could be a cute cameo, but I don't know if they can. I mean, well, Chris really can. So.
Well, he's nice to look at.
Yeah.
And he's Thor.
He is Thor. He's a good Thor. He does Thor very well. He does comedic roles actually. Like he has really good comedic timing.
Yeah, I'm glad they've been able to let him like be funny because he's good at that. What
was that man's name? Channing Tatum.
Yes. Although I never saw him as Gambit.
Oh, that was bad.
You don't hear lying talking about I was so heartbroken I couldn't do Gambit. Stop. He just wanted to come.
He was fighting for that. Like he was fighting for that movie to come out. I will never understand it. Can you imagine him doing an accent?
Oh my gosh. Oh no. It's a good part. Share.
Oh gosh.
Was Rogue going to be in it?
I don't know. I don't know what the movie was supposed to be about. It was just
no, they did. No, Rogue wasn't going to be in it because they cast like a girl that was going to be Belladonna.
Okay.
Anything. And as someone who works in entertainment, like they really do just be doing anything. Like
it's crazy. Like you have one. Like you need to go sit down somewhere. So don't nobody wants to game.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I've been really, really enjoying all of this. I'm really excited for the movie now. I hope everybody's been enjoying like the book club and stuff. This has been a lot of fun reading about a bunch of these characters, especially with stuff that I haven't really read before. Like I said, Thor is like kind of a blind spot. I read stuff with him when my faves were in his stuff, or when he was like having a big moment. I did read War of the Realms and some of the other stuff that he's had, but this has been hot. God of Thunder is good.
Welcome.
So next week we will be finishing up Thor God of Thunder by reading issues 10 through 12, and we will jump into Mighty Thor with issues 1 through 3. So that is Jane Foster, and I'll finally find out if it's giving what it's supposed to give. I never really read it. I only read the first issue, so.
It does, but not till like later on.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come right back.
Cool. I was like, be calm.
Your bones crack.
I'm not good. Like, I'm not good with stretching after the gym.
I need to do that more too.
It's like it's all gonna break down on me one day. I don't know.
I should do yoga. I should become like a yoga.
So I've come to realize like I'm not patient enough for stuff like that. Like you really gotta like center yourself and ground and like go into the moves slow and like steady and just be. And I'm just like, all right, this is taking too long.
Yeah, so you gotta feel it out. Relax, be cool.
I need to pump some iron.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the rewatch corner of the show. And this week we're going to be talking about Ms. Marvel, the newest Marvel Cinematic Disney Plus TV show starring Iman Vellani as Ms. Marvel. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I love this. Like, she cleared it. Iman really is Kamala. Like,
yeah, she looks like her acting. But I think the chemistry of like everyone in the show was amazing, especially like Kamala and the family. But like Iman herself invoking like the vulnerability of Kamala, like the eagerness of her, the nerdiness of her, like feeling like she didn't fit in certain spaces and like just wanting this stuff and like getting to the person. Like that was like. I remember reading those first couple of issues of Ms. Marvel. I was like, oh, this is like the same girl.
It felt like the exact same girl. Like watching this first episode, it truly felt like it was Like she walked off the pages.
It was like so amazing to see. Like, so kudos to them for that casting because they really done. You know, sometimes the MCU does it right.
They do, and we got to give them props when they do it, and they did it right with them on. I mean, so this episode, we see young Kamala fangirling over none other than Captain Marvel, and she basically told the retelling of the fight with Thanos the same way I did. Basically, she said Captain Marvel cleared, and, and everybody else is just kind of there. But I think this is really cute. I loved the animation that they used in a lot of these scenes where things would like kind of pop up. Yeah. And even like the retelling and like all of her imaginary things that she was just kind of daydream about were really cool. Yeah. And I thought really cool like addition to the show. It really makes it feel like it's its own. You know, so far all these Disney shows or Disney Plus shows have really felt like they try to have their own lane, right? They all try to have their own kind of mark on what kind of like creativity they want to provide to people. And I think that this is really like its own thing.
I feel like this one's different in the way because like a lot of the Disney Plus shows, I feel like they've tried to have their own visual lane, but they still feel kind of like drab a little bit. And I feel like Miss Marvel is very bright. It's very in your face. Like there's so much color, like you say, there's all these like animations that are going on while she's daydreaming and things like that. It's very fun. It's very playful. It's very light. It's youthful. And I feel like a lot of the other stuff has still been very mature. It's still very heavy. Whereas this is just like, this is a kid. And like it should feel that way. It has a lot of heart, and I love the way the show has been shot. It was like truly a standout. It was so many parts where I like sat up, and I was like, oh wow, this looks really cool, and it's really interesting to see. And you know, I'm gonna jump all around a little bit while I'm talking about this, but let me say it right now. I like the power change, and I kind of think they should give it to her in the comics. I was into it.
Okay.
I'm not.
So was I. Okay, and I know that, like, obviously, I know I have a bias towards energy powers. Yes. And she was making some force field kind of stuff. So, yes, I understand that I have a bias there. But I don't know. It really kind of fit. I think if people go back and listen to some of the older episodes and remember that I talked about Ms. Marvel and her relationship with Carol, and in the comics, I never disliked their relationship. I think that it's important because I think that the purpose of their relationship is for Kamala to see that she doesn't have to be this white woman to be great. You can be yourself. And after that, they can have whatever kind of relationship they want to have, whether she wants to continue to kind of work with her or not. That's up to her. But I think the point of their kind of becoming the mentor-mentee kind of thing is for Kamala to eventually grow out of it and say, I don't need to be like her. I can do my own thing. And outside of that, though, while they all together, I used to always think that like Carol's sidekick should have like cosmic powers or something a little bit more bombastic like hers are. So I used to think that they would just give her another sidekick with powers like hers. But I mean, they could also just
the little ancestral band powered energy. Still, she can still like do whatever. I don't know, it's hot. And I do think that like I know a big part of that story again is like her finding happiness and like the power and like saying, you know, I can do this and I don't have to look like Carol and I can have the ugly power. And it's like she did all of that. Great. Now we can give her something flashy.
Exactly. And that's okay. I like the little flash.
And I think so. I think the show actually still does a really good job at like emphasizing that even though she's about to have these flashy powers, she does still feel different and she does still feel strange. And I actually think they're still going to kind of drive home on the point that like, look, she still has these flashy powers and she's probably still going to feel out of place. And like, how does that make her feel? And how does she come into him? So it was really cool. I loved like the tension she had with the boy. Like showing like the romantic interest when they were like sitting up on the roof after they told her she couldn't go to the Avengers Con, which. Quick question. That was not how she got her power, where she got it from in the comics, right? It was like a gang war, wasn't it?
She got her powers in the comics. I don't think it was a gang war. No, she went out. That's right. She went out when she wasn't supposed to. I guess kind of like this. Now to think about it. She went out when she wasn't supposed to. Like she like out and all the kids were like partying at the creek or something. And she like snuck out and went, and then the Inhumans cloud like came in.
Okay,
got
I
her in
couldn't
this
tell
show.
if it was like a war or something. Maybe I'm combining her and Static, but
I think you was thinking Static, yeah.
I just always remember like her being here at the Avengers Con thing, and that's where her powers activated. And I remember in the game there was at the
Mhm.
Avengers Con too. But I was like, did this like just happen? I was like, I don't remember this from the comic books, but I was like, it keeps popping up, so maybe it actually did. Um,
No,
but I
it
do.
is probably taken from the game.
Speaking of Con, I feel I like this show because I feel like this was the first one that like actually really did feel connected to the rest of the MCU. Obviously, like we got
Mhm.
stuff about like the other heroes showing up. We saw like Scott Lang has his podcast, which I thought was cool. Kamala was talking about everything, but I thought like they did that in a really nice way that felt organic without still taking over the show.
Yeah, and I also really like that this was the first time we really got to see a lot more of the like the universe's reaction to everything post in game.
Yeah.
We've seen them, talk about it in like their grief or whatever, but now they've like lived with it
Yeah.
for a while, and now um, I feel like this is the first time we've really seen the like
People.
background characters and people like really talking about it or whatever. We see them, especially the Avengers, I should say,
Mm.
and like who they decide as a hero, which made me think to them, is Wanda a superhero? I'd assume, like, to the regular people, like Wanda is a part
She
of the Avengers.
she was an Avenger who like killed a bunch of people.
Right. They don't know that. They probably get over that.
But no, I would say I can't. So, but when I was looking at it, I didn't see too many things of her,
Me
and
neither.
but
I was looking.
I also didn't see a lot of Spider-Man stuff in there either.
That's great. They
And
supposed to have forgot about him, right?
I thought they just forgot he was Peter Parker.
I thought at the end of No Way Home, everyone forgot about Spider and Peter.
I just thought they forgot that Peter was Spider-Man. I don't know that
But,
movie.
but Spider-Man was still a thing.
Yes, because
I
he
think you're right, actually.
was
I
still
think you're
in
right.
his new suit at the end, wasn't he?
Right. I think you're right, but they haven't got the rights to Spider-Man. They
I
definitely
was
throw
about
him
to
in
say, I wonder
here.
if it was like a rights thing that they couldn't have his stuff in there, so like that's why we just didn't see him.
Hmm. Don't want to
But
get no emails from Sony.
and they do love to email, so
I thought that the after we get some of the stuff with her getting her powers, I thought that the like bangle and the way that the powers looked was really cool. When she did the hand and caught that girl,
that was
I
nice.
thought that I was like, all right, it
That-
does look kind of cool. Sorry, I know that I'm supposed to be against like, you know, and stand for the side of comic book accuracy, but I thought that it was.
I'm not. Give her the powers.
I did feel sad for her when she was trying to sneak out for the con, and her mom and dad came in and with the whole
Oh,
costumes, and dad was like,
the,
he was
the
so
parents,
excited.
the parents are like standouts for me. I absolutely love them in the show. They are like killing it. They're fun. They're funny. They're like I felt so bad for the dad. He was so hurt, and I was like, she
Yeah,
got grounded or something for like 2 months.
yeah, that was rude. She had for her Carol costume. I did also think that like, while you said earlier that she may or may not like, we'll see how she does about like her weird powers or changing or whatever. I thought that instead of her actually changing into Carol, like we've seen her in the comics do because she had those polymorphic powers, I think that like now she's going to like look like her, embody her. And she was in the mirror like in the Captain Marvel costume, and she's like truly in a skin tight suit, which was funny when her mom called it out. It was like her costume is
Yeah,
skin tight.
that was nice. And again, I really like that conversation that the mom had with her after, like when she tried to sneak back in, and she was like, we try to teach you to be like this good girl and do all this stuff. Do you want to be this person with your head up in the sky and being cosmic? And she at the end, she was like cosmic, and I was like,
Yeah. I love it. I also love that she's got a YouTube channel,
yeah, also
Sloth Baby Productions. I think that's very cute. I loved all the other Easter eggs they had in this too, like her counselor being GWW, which is G Willow Wilson, the creator of Ms. Marvel, and on the outside of the school, all of the creators that were involved in her comics were the names for the school, which I thought was really a really nice touch.
and then
Yeah, I mean,
it was Adrian Alphona art, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. Yes, yeah. which I thought again was really cool. And speaking of the after credit scene, like they had the damage control, which I think that's who that was supposed to be.
Oh, it was supposed to be. I was like watching. I was like, I don't know if I'm like missing something.
Me too. So like in the comics, she had some people who would come after her, but I think that they were called Nice.
Okay.
But I don't know if they've been introduced yet, but we know damage control. So I'm just guessing that might be damage control because they were talking about picking up people with powers, which makes me wonder.
The Young Avengers.
Y'all know what that means. Y'all know the M word. The one Havoc don't like to say.
Those kids. That'll be exciting. Yeah. I mean, they're not coming no time soon, but whatever.
No, they're not. No.
But the Inhuman side.
Oh, that could be a thing. You think that they might say that Kamala is a Inhuman?
No.
No, they bought back Black Bolt. People liked him a lot.
That's nice.
Iman Vellani herself was on the red carpet talking about Black Bolt, her favorite, and they did him wrong in the Multiverse of Madness.
She's Kamala. Everyone's gonna be her favorite. It's fine.
That's a good point. Yeah. I wouldn't hold it out if they say something Inhuman related for her. I know that they already changed her powers, but I think that they might want to keep the Inhuman thing just to have that door open.
But
who knows? I doubt that they would change her into a mutant or something. I don't think that's going to happen.
No. Although it would be hilarious if they did.
Yeah. That'd be messy because one thing about Kamala, she's got it.
She does.
You know,
she's an it girl.
She's an it girl. Like, she truly is the new Peter Parker. Like, she just, it is what it is. She's got it. So her being a mutant, that would be funny. Because she would end up clearing a lot of girls that way. But what would you end up rating this first episode?
Honestly, I think it was kind of like, I give it like a 5 out of 5, I think. I like really walked away enjoying it and I remember when Miss Marvel first got announced and like the preview and stuff came out, I was kind of like, on Kamala as a whole. But like as time went on and you would see more of Iman in her interviews and just hearing about the story and stuff like that, it was like, okay, like I understand what this is supposed to give, and like they really knocked it out of the park. Again, I love the way it was shot. I loved her as Kamala. I love the parents, the family stuff. I love seeing her at school.
Her dad, I mean, her brother's kind of cute.
He is. That's why he get married.
The dad's cute.
The mom was great. I loved the first use of the powers. I just love the text conversation, how they did that with the lights and the neon stuff. That was great. It was good. I'm into it.
I am not of the same cultural background as her, obviously, but like I appreciated all the cultural stuff that they added into it. I can't attest to see if it's correct, obviously, but like, yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really cool.
Guys here, I was like so tempted to go get some food after I saw them get some. I was like, I know that's right.
Keeping it authentic. I'm excited for this series. I think it's going to be great. I would also end up giving this, honestly, a 5 out of 5. Like, no notes.
Good TV, good comics, good energy, good. Like, what was that? It's because it was my birthday.
You've been having a bomb birthday week.
It's been good.
All right, y'all. Well, then that brings us to the end of the show. Please make sure you rate and subscribe us wherever you get your podcasts. We really appreciate all the love and support. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Another Relaunch. You can email us anything you want at anotherrelaunch@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube if you want to watch at Another Relaunch TV. You can find me on most social media platforms at Uncanny LZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You guys know you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Keenan Lance. As always, there's an underscore at the end.
All right, y'all. Let's get up out of here, and then we'll catch y'all next week.
Peace.